I've been on your tail for weeks, and now I finally got you. You're all under arrest.
Shit.
For breaking social distancing guidelines.
What? We're outside.
Doesn't matter, you're still way too close to each other. There's a safe way to do a drug deal. Why don't you use the designated drug deal area we've created?
What? Huh?
Gentlemen, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Congratulations on this great new series. How does it feel following the how should I say it, the history, the comedic history, like say the Kids in the Hall and Codco, great shows, and now you guys are following that and hopefully influencing the next generation of sketch comedy and comics from Canada.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think of that. We're following these legends. God, so much pressure. Jeez.
I thought we were creating stuff in a vacuum personally.
I
but-
did not even know anyone was watching this. God. Kids in the Hall. Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, those are some OGs. I mean, it's crazy because like I don't know, like I don't know. I guess when we're doing sketch, I feel like we're just trying to make something that makes us laugh. And so when I think like bigger picture, I'm like, yeah, actually there are people who are probably watching us and looking up to us that maybe want to get into comedy or do sketch specifically. And that's kind of cool, but also I'm a bit scary where I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't let them down.
I don't think so, because from what I've seen, and I was lucky enough, of course, to see the first 2 episodes, you guys are hilarious. How did you guys all meet, and what do you think it is, the magic between you guys that makes it all work?
Well, we all met through the Toronto open mic stand-up scene. Tim and Vance initially met each other at Humber College for comedy, and me and Guled were getting to be better friends through the stand-up scene. And I think Tim had the idea to bring everyone together, and I was already friends with Guled. Tim was very close with Vance, and we all came together, and we just like really clicked right away. We were all like had the same sense of same taste, same instincts. We're all very complimentary. So yeah, it just felt very magical because we had been in other comedy troupes before where the chemistry just wasn't the same. So our chemistry it was really magical. It felt very safe and very beautiful and very fun right from the jump. And I think that was probably something very rare, that it was destined, written in the stars. But no, it was just very, it was like just, I don't know, a perfect chemistry, that like Big Bang type of energies connecting in the universe. It was wild.
Good. You feel the same way, my friend?
I do, yeah. I mean, because like
I was actually speaking for him. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Actually,
we were on
I'm
the
just
same
gonna
page.
echo what Franco was saying. Big Bang, energies coming together, fission, fusion. I do agree with them, because like sometimes I do think about the chance that I met Franco and became close, the chance that Franco and Tim were working together at Second City, like all these things, like you don't really plan for these things, they just kind of happen. And then all of us meeting, like I do think it's like pretty cool that we found each other, and that we like ended up clicking, and it leading to like 2 seasons of a sketch show, which is pretty amazing.
Franco, what do you describe the comedy for you guys that folks are going to get a chance to see on CBC? Because again, from what I saw, you guys are like at the cutting edge of what is happening at the moment in Canada and around the world.
I think our comedy, like we kind of joke at the opening of our bio, is we're a diverse group doing diverse things diversely. But I think our comedy style is like we just do what's really fun to us. And we kind of oftentimes have an incredibly zany and surrealist take on how we interpret the world. And because we're BIPOC individuals, we experience things that you haven't traditionally seen on mainstream television. I think might be the only completely non-white troupe on TV, maybe in the history of television, maybe the history of the universe. I don't know. but because we have experiences that are very real to us, we like to just do comedy that's very truthful to us, and oftentimes it might feel very cutting edge, and sometimes it might be very silly and very stupid. But I think because we have a sketch troupe with our particular makeup hasn't been seen before, we might be doing things that will feel very cutting edge.
And that's the thing, Gullet. I find it interesting because with today's humor, which, like you said, cutting edge, everything else, amazing, but at the same time, can be so sensitive these days. It's not like back in the day for me, back in the 80s or 70s, where you heard the N word on television, you saw so many different things. Now you say the wrong thing, people are all over you and they have social media. How do you keep that cutting edge going? But at the same time, how do I say, get the message out there, get the joke out there? And does it matter if it's offending or not offending?
I find whenever the conversation of like people being sensitive or PC comes up, that like I think the part that's missing is like more people have a voice now than in any other point in history, and so you're just hearing people. Just like I have the right to say what I want, so does someone else have the right to tell me that they didn't like what I said. And being open to that criticism and still trying, like I still try to make the jokes that that make me laugh and that make us laugh, and I want to push ideas that I'm interested in. But I'm also am aware of like, and I think any comedian is aware of like how it's going to be received, because that's also a part of the joke. It's being like, is there room for someone to misinterpret what I'm saying? And also if I do make a mistake, then being like, all right, like I just got to own up to it, take that hit.
Franco, but what is it also like too? Because I can only imagine when you guys are trying to film this stuff, you guys must do this over and over again, because you must be laughing so hard at times. Even though we get to see the final cut, that cut may have been done like maybe 50 different times because you guys are laughing so hard in between.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun, especially this year when we got, season one, we are still kind of new to everything. Season two, we got way more comfortable and we're having way more fun. And so, yeah, a lot of times we're just, I'll just lock eyes with Vance and I'll just kind of break and then, and just apologize profusely to the crew who's working so hard, who have families that they need to go back to. So yeah, but at the end of the day, it's so much fun. It's a real blast. It's really a dream come true. It feels like rehearsing in Tim's dad's condo apartment, but we're getting paid for it. It's wild.
Good. How tough was it to do this though during COVID-19? Did you guys have to really, shut down the crew, masks, everything else? Because like I said, what I saw was completely hilarious. But then when you think back of all the production and things that you probably had to deal with, because there are scenes that are being done on location, how tough was it to do?
I think it was tougher mostly from a production side. Like I'm sure they had a lot of work on their end of figuring out, because we weren't able to go on location as much as we did in season one. We had a lot of sets that were built in like studio settings, just a bunch of different like rooms that had like all these different sketches that were going to happen. But it became pretty normal after a couple of weeks, because the protocols were like we're all masked up in between scenes. Once they yell cut, like we put on a mask, the crew is always masked up, and getting used to like socially distancing from a lot of times like friends who I loved and I see them on set, and I'm like, oh, I want to talk to them, but being like, oh, I gotta keep my distance unless we're in a scene together, because they want to try to reduce any chance of us like infecting each other if one of us were to get sick.
No,
But
of
it
course.
was like pretty
Sorry, go ahead.
straightforward. No, so I feel like it was pretty straightforward.
I was going to say, I don't want to give too much away, but you guys do address COVID-19 in a very cool way. I'm going to ask each of you, though, and this is probably not a fair question, but what would you say was without giving too much away, your favorite sketches so far for this season?
Ooh. And I'm trying. It's always like I feel like once I finish filming, I forget everything. It's like I've never done comedy before. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what did I do.
I think my favorite one in the my favorite one might not be in the season. It might be a cut one or an extra one. which has something to do with beatboxing. And that was a lot of fun because I got to see a bunch of people dancing to my beatboxing. I'm trying to think, what is one?
For me, it was like, I think probably rap battles.
Oh, yeah, that was the
where we're
funnest
battle
one.
rapping with a bunch
Yeah.
of like twists and turns, which I thought were very funny.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That's my favorite one too. Rap battles. That was a lot of fun. The
So
costumes and everything.
I asked you guys earlier, and now that it's sort of settled into your heads again for both of you, how does it feel knowing that you are going to be influencing the next generation? It could be 10, 20 years from now when another comedy troupe comes up and says, on CBC, and they're like, this was great. We got into it because they watched you guys.
I will ask them to kindly cut a check. I think that's how it works,
want my
right? When you
royalties. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank. I want a $1, a royalty for every joke told.
Yeah, anytime we inspired somebody, I'd like them to cut a check.
There you go.
Then once they tell
cool.
1,000 jokes, I only want 15% of their career.
As we're wrapping this up, for both of you, you can answer, what do you hope that folks will get out of this new season?
Ooh, I hope people will get a chance to, like, I don't know, just for a moment, enjoy some guys having fun and just get into some of the silly ideas, because there's a lot of this past year and a half has felt very heavy. So I hope people get a chance to, like, I don't know, for half an hour, feel some joy.
Yeah. I hope people get a lot of joy, a lot of fun, a sense of belonging, because I think sometimes we've been, literally self-isolating. So I hope people feel a little bit connected, have feelings that make them feel that they were not the only ones to have those feelings. And I hope, like you said earlier, that people are inspired to see that there are so many possibilities for them as well.
What I'm happy about too is the fact that you guys are representing not just Canadian comedy, but a diverse Canadian comedy. And we get to see this every week. And that is a beautiful thing, because that's what Canada is all about. And we need to see that. We need to feel it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for doing this interview. Congratulations on another season. Looking forward to talking to you guys again on another one, and another, and another, and another. Thanks, guys.
Put out in the universe.
Rudy.
Thank you, Rudy.
Take care.
Take care.
When I went to go get food, I got the oxtail for free. I'm pretty sure the guy thought I was Jamaican.
Well, you are.
Whoa, just because I'm black doesn't mean I'm Jamaican.
What? You are Jamaican.
Tim, we've met your parents. Where do you think they're from?
I don't know. I mean, where are you guys from?
Somalia.
Vietnam.
Here.
Doesn't sound right.
Tim, you go to Jamaica every year.
Yeah, but that's just to visit my grandparents.
Because they're Jamaican?
This doesn't add up. Or like every other family, all right? We put on the cricket game, we eat jerk chicken, and deep down inside, we hold on to the hope that someday Vibes Cartel will be released from prison.
Okay, I'm gonna say a word and you respond with the first thing that comes to your head. Jump.
Jump and wave, jump and wave.
Rice.
Rice and peas, rice and peas.
Sandals.
Resort and spa, resort and spa.
See? You're Jamaican.
Okay, I'm gonna clear this up, all right? Hello, Dad?
Wagwan, son.
Oh my God. I am Jamaican.
Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, and congratulations on the new season. I talked to your other two members earlier, and I'll ask you the same question. How does it feel knowing that you guys are influencing this generation of Canadian comics with your sketch troupe on television? And you think back in the days of Kids in the Hall and Codco, you guys are now part of that elite group. How does it feel knowing that you're part of all this Canadian comedy history?
It's absurd. It's also an honor, especially like CBC. I know it's been very influential to me. I grew up without like cable, so most of the stuff I watched on TV was CBC. And I remember like talking about all my favorite shows and comedy stuff I liked on CBC at school the next day. And like all the other kids had cable, so they'd be talking. I felt like extra Canadian because I'm talking about all these Canadian shows they haven't even heard of. So, I mean, to be a part of that and to be hopefully inspiring kids like myself who are watching CBC, I mean, that it's truly an honor.
Vance, the same thing?
Yeah, like absurd is right. I can't even really even feel it. I'm still kind of just feel like a guy living in Toronto, and I get to do the favorite thing in the world, and I make a living, so it feels really good. I think one of the big things for me growing up, well, not just growing up, being in Toronto and doing comedy in Toronto as like an independent artist was just like there's no other native people doing comedy. So I mean, if this inspires, just young native kids to get into stand up, get into sketch, improv, just start doing comedy, that'd make me over the moon.
Vance, you get to do something else too, which I love because you are a musician. You get to sing. What
Yeah.
is that like to come up with scenarios in funny sketches and singing at the same time? Because that's two loves you combine into one.
Yeah, pretty insane. I think that that would happen. Be a lot of Bruce. A lot of Bruce encourages us to do songs and just step out of our comfort zone and do different things. And writing a song like Alberta Don't Go, or just that's I couldn't even. I did bands when I was younger, but I couldn't imagine singing in my comedy career. So it's pretty special.
Yeah,
Tim,
it's
what I don't get with you is you are such a natural comic, and the fact that reading your bio, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I haven't gotten it mixed up with everybody, you didn't want to do comedy.
somewhat. Well, I was nervous about doing comedy.
Yeah,
I was
okay, nervous
introduced
about
in
it, but
in
you
high
didn't know
school.
you could do comedy.
No, I did not. I mean, I feel like why would you assume? Especially as a kid, like comedy does not seem like an approachable career. Like I don't, I it's you. I had no idea how people become like stand-ups, but yeah. It was just a school assignment, and then all of a sudden it became my favorite thing. Like it's the one thing I ever did in school that I got like 100% on for a project where like I did all the homework. Yeah.
What is it like, though? I'm going to ask you, Tim. What is it like, though, having to come up with such great comedy sketches? Some of them will turn into classics. But what is it with you guys when you get together, when you're in a room, or as what we have to do now, virtual Zoom chats? But what is it like to come up with these great sketches?
It's a blast. I mean, it's just us hanging out and we're kind of talking about ideas or even just talking about our lives, and a lot of these things spin out of like just real things that make us laugh in conversation, and then we're like, oh, maybe there's a premise around that. I mean, it's really fun just to hang out, and then like the hope is that it just all translates to on screen.
Vance, do you guys look at when you're looking for your comedy? And I want people to understand this if they've never had a chance to see your show yet, because I think I understand it. But do you look through the papers? Do you watch the news? Do you is your inspiration for comedy come from having a conversation with friends? Maybe walking down the street and seeing somebody doing something, or being on the bus, or like where do those inspirations come from for you guys?
Yeah, it's all fodder. It's all worth something. An idea can lead to really anything. I mean, I've gotten ideas while cleaning. I've gotten ideas while listening to music, watching someone do something really messed up on the subway, like reading the paper, wondering like what's like that's ridiculous, so what's the comedy angle on this? It's all can be used, and you just kind of just throw it in the bonfire and hope it burns.
But have you ever had, though, where you guys have put together a sketch, maybe a friend or somebody contact you and go, "Hey, you making fun of me? Is that me?" Okay, you're both laughing. Tim, I'm gonna get you to answer that too, but Vance, you first.
I think I've had my mom be like, "Is that sketch about me?" Or it's like, "No, no, no. You do that, but I wasn't thinking about you when when you're right into." And even like, I met this really cool guy. I was doing Indian horse back in the day, and he lives out in BC, and he sent me a message. Just being like, "Is that sketch that you wrote about me?" And I was like, "Man, I met you like 2 times. Like, but that's special that you connected with it. I love it." Yeah.
Tim, you had the biggest smile, so.
Well, I think I've been lucky enough so far that the person who inspires a lot of my material hasn't been able to catch on yet. They haven't clued in, so I'm still going. I can't reveal my source yet. I gotta protect it, but yeah.
Well, just so you guys know, I remember, and I can't remember who the comic was, but I remember him talking about making fun of Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, and he was at a party and he ran into Bobby Brown, and Bobby Brown, he tried to avoid him, but Bobby Brown said, "I see what you're doing on me on TV." But Bobby was cool enough to say, "Well, the stuff was funny though." And that's what it is with you guys. I don't think you guys are poking fun at people. You're more or less letting people be aware of things that are going on and just sharing in the fun with that. And with these sketches, what would you say for each of you, without giving too much away? And Tim, you first, what would be your most favorite sketch so far for this season?
This season, one of my favorite ones is a sketch Guled wrote where he's a superhero who has just a really poorly thought out costume and name. And there's some turns in the sketch that I'm happy we got approved by CBC, and I can't wait for people to watch.
Vance, what about yourself, my friend?
I think my favorite is probably a sketch called Mansion Rent. Just the song, I listened to it. I think with every listen, I appreciate it a little bit more. And I think I'm finding the comedy a little bit more. And I think it's a mark of a really great comedy sketch.
Well, you guys do great comedy sketches. As we're wrapping this up, Vance, I'm going to ask you, and Tim would be the same thing. What do you hope, especially because we've had a rough 2020? Everybody was excited about getting into 2021, and it looks like 2020 has bled into 2021. What do you hope that folks are going to get from this season that, hopefully it's going to help us forget about some of the tough times? Tim, you're up first. Go ahead.
A lot of like good, hard belly laughs, pure laughs. I hope it can kill a few hours in quarantine for you and staying inside. I mean, I know watching things has been a big part of, what's kept me going through this, and being able to talk about certain things I'm watching with friends, like especially like, watching movies online where they're in a different place. Like it's been a big part of community for me during the quarantine.
Vance?
Continuous joy. I think some of my favorite things about comedy movies, it's like even Step Brothers, I think, is how quotable it is and how many laughs you can get out of one viewing. I mean, I quoted that for most of my early 20s, and I got so many good laughs out of it. So I just hope our show could do something like that.
Oh, I got one more question, and this is for the both of you. Either one can answer. Any chance that we can push for a Canada Day special for you guys, because you guys represent the nation, or even though we're talking the beginning of the year, a Christmas special sometime at the end? Can we push CBC? CBC, are you listening about this? Can we get these guys 2 specials around those times? Because these guys represent the holidays, which is supposed to be about fun, but they definitely represent what Canada's all about. Any chance any of that could happen?
Well, we'll work on it. We might have to hijack the airwaves, but we'll get it done just for you, Rudy.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you for what you guys are doing, because it's something we really need, because man, it's tough to put a smile on their faces. And watching what you guys have put together, as you said, not just a smile, but a belly laugh. Gentlemen, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Rudy. Take care. It was great talking to you.
Good talking to you. Looking to talk to you in the next season.
All right.
Amen.
Bye-bye.